Hey, Tom here, FlipAnything USA. So, talking about generational wealth, so many of the people that are in the mentorship and read the book, all interested in, leaving something behind for the next generation, right? That was kind of always the intent. I mean, that's always what we've always heard, right? Is have a better life for your kids than maybe the one that you lived. And unfortunately, that's kind of not what's happening for a lot of people in this country. There's people that were born in some, decent circumstances and wealth, and they're finding themselves in circumstances where they're actually living a better life than hey, Cudham, how you doing? They're actually living a better life. They lived a better childhood, had more opportunities than they're able to provide for this generation, their own kids. And I'm sensitive to those guys. I can tell you, my folks didn't particularly have a lot of money, but I had a dad that loved me, cared about me, and that was always the best thing. Is number one, love is nothing better than love. But money sure makes it easy and takes a lot of stress out of things, right? I was touring around a little bit on my properties today, and I was thinking about some things. I have 4 kids. My boys are 19. My girls are 26 and 28, I think. They're up there, and you can't plan their lives, but what's nice is if you can make enough money that they can have options to pursue their dreams, whatever their dreams are. Now, I had held some property longer than I had anticipated, because, let me put it this way, I didn't hold it longer than I anticipated. I held it for longer than I should have, because I was anticipating that my boys would share my interest in real estate. And now, while they do want to own real estate, and they certainly understand, they know how much I love and how passionate I am about investing in real estate. Right? Which, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button. Just hit the subscribe button and subscribe to this channel. I've got a book, Wait and Smell the Real Estate. Check it out on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. But the thing that makes me sleep good at night is security, right? And I think we all know that. Everybody does. And getting there, I don't know a better way to get there than real estate. And even if, I leave, a bunch of rentals and and I'll tell you something about leaving money for kids. My kids don't even get anything. My kids won't get anything until the youngest is 40 years old, and that's more than 20 years. And then they only get it if I'm dead. Okay, they only get it if I'm dead. So, and I don't think I'm going to be dead in 20 years, but certainly it could happen. But I have constraints on my monies that I leave behind that the kids just can't have it until till they're at least, the youngest is 40. That'll make the girls like 46 and 48, and that might seem unfair, but not really, because women live longer than men. They live about 6 to 8 years longer than men, and so I figured they'll get it all together. Or when I say they get it, assuming I died, they would have control over my estate, and then it would be theirs to squander. And it's interesting. It's kind of a fun thing. I spent a lot of money figuring out my will, and it's not just as simple as I explained, but it is pretty simple. But it took a while. I had a buddy of mine that he also a high net worth individual, and he went and talked to, I can't think of the name, not just attorneys, but there's a special name for these guys, and he was talking to them. And the other guys pretty much just specifically work on these kinds of things. And he said, well, he goes, what's the biggest problem you see for, the children of high net worth individuals? And he said, anticipation. anticipation. No, not estate planner, not exactly. Kind of like that, but a little bit higher. Basically, yes, but for high net worth. There's a name, I can't think of the name for it. But anyways, and they told them, they all said the same thing. You know, these are some, we're talking people that deal with some really big bucks, big estates. And they all said the same thing, the ones that he talked to, and he said, anticipated wealth is what'll ruin kids. And that's why I tell my kids, you ain't getting nothing until, you're 40, when the youngest one's 40. Because by 40, they're either gonna figure it out or not. By 40, I say it all the time, if you're not a millionaire by 40, you're doing something wrong. If you're not a millionaire by 30, really, you could be doing something wrong. And I don't say that. I realize I was fortunate to learn, the power of real estate and the power of used. Really, the power of used is the biggest thing. But everybody knows if you work 5-6 years and you can take a look at your, if you got a job, you can kind of see that it's going to take a long time to have enough money. If I'm just saying, even if you make $200,000-300,000 a year, it's going to take a long time to save enough money to retire, to put your kids through college, and maybe even put your grandkids through college. I mean, that's thinking way ahead, right? But the bottom line is, you gotta focus on building your wealth. And for some people jump to stocks and things like that. And I think some long-term people have gotten into some solid companies, and it's still building it slowly. To me, real estate, I don't think there's a better, bigger, faster, quicker way. If you're somebody that happens to be lucky enough to jump into a startup that goes public and you make a ton of money, I mean, there are exceptions to the rule. But in general, most of us just have to figure it out and earn it. I remember having a discussion with some, it was not a pleasant fight, but in that fight, I was making my case to the others. I said, listen, the self-employed, okay, that's me, the self-employed, the people that don't work for somebody, and really most people don't even have a good retirement plan, period. The big companies that used to do that don't do it anymore. And so now, what I was telling them is, I said, listen, only money I have, it was over a zoning. I was fighting a zone change and with some neighbors in a property that I had rezoned, and a handful of yo-yos in there that were just busybodies. Were trying to make the case that my development was going to ruin the neighborhood, which is a bunch of bullshit. And I won, by the way. And my development is done and through, and a long time ago, and nobody's been harmed. It's an asset to the area. And the two things that I told them, I says, hey, number one, I said, nobody cares more about these assets in this neighborhood than me, and I own more than anybody else in the neighborhood. And so, of course, the neighborhood's more important to me than anybody, just based on the fact that I have more to lose if it goes to hell, or if I did something terrible, I would be the most affected. And whenever you're going to make a fight for a zone change or to do something that you want to go through, you don't make it about yourself, but you have to make it about these assets will make life better for everyone. And I own more than anyone in this area, and that's why I'm saying I'm doing it, because it enhances everything that I have and everything that everybody else is around. And others say, oh, there'd be so much traffic or this, that, and the other thing, and they don't know anything about traffic counts and that sort of thing. It becomes obvious. But hey, good morning, Clay. But anyways, I just wanted to pop in. I've been really busy. We know too, I was going to do a video with you. It's so sweet when you're cleaning up. I've had multiple renovations going on a bunch of different properties, and I'm kind of done with everything. Where, there's a couple that are all the way finished, and just like get the little, the short list, the touch-up list, checklist, or whatever we like to call it, the punch list, where any little thing there is, the tenants say, okay, this, and this, or your buyer says this, and this, and then you take care of those things before you close on the lease or the sale. Well, that's where I'm at, and it's just nice just being done with everything and seeing nice clean rooms and ready to move into, and and I'm blessed, believe me. Everything's 100% leased, and I locked in some money at a low interest rate, got ahead of the Fed, and so I've got some nice lines set up to be released here soon, or that are just about to close through, and no rush. And nobody should be in a rush right now, by the way. It's always a good time to buy real estate, but only if you're buying it under market. And you got to factor in right now that the market is shaky and probably is at best leveled and is heading down. So you got to anticipate that happening, and so you got to buy not only below market but below market enough that you can you beat the down line, the trending line going down, and then you're still going to be safe. Then you're safe, but nobody should be scared when you buy something. You shouldn't be scared. You should be excited. And the reason you would be excited is because you know that you're about to make a ton of money, and that's the only kind of excitement. Your excitement shouldn't be like anxiety, like, oh God, am I doing the right thing? I hope so. And by the way, I invite you to. There's a gentleman that commented on a couple of things. I did a video on Chris Crohn's. Is he? What did I write? I don't know if I wrote. Is he a fake? Or no, is Chris Crohn a scam, or is he a bad deal? Because that's kind of how I think in terms of Chris Crohn is a bad deal more than anything. I don't think he's a scam, but to some people it might feel that way, and I guess that's why he felt compelled to make the video that he made. But you can see somebody that's making some comments, and this is one of those guys, and all respect to the guy that's in there, I just don't think he understands money. And he may be a DC, very articulate, seemed quite, well read the way he was writing and all, but he doesn't have common sense, I don't think. And I told him that in the most politest way that I could. He doesn't understand the game, they understand the real estate, he's gullible, and a lot of people are. But go look at those comments underneath there, and I responded to some of those. And respond with your own. Please respond under that. Go look at that Chris Crohn video. It really is a good thing to check out, because I get into the numbers. And really, all of you guys should know to get into the numbers. Numbers are easy for me. They always have been. In fact, just about everything that happens in a day, if there's something happens, of anything, it could be food by the ounce, it could be liquid by the ounce, it could be anything that I'm buying. If there's a price, my math, the math just goes off. How much is that an ounce? How much is that a gallon? How much is that, per foot? How much is that per square foot? I think about all that stuff. How much is it, per acre? It's just, and it's good for the math to trigger that for you. But you should look at that, because, people make some rosy scenario situations, and I could make I could say that, everything that all my recent purchases went up 50%, or all my recent purchases of the properties are worth 50% more than I paid for them. And I can say that because that's usually how I buy anyways. But I could say 100%. All my properties are worth 100. Last property I bought, I made over 300%. I can say that. Not because it's happened. But that doesn't mean it's happened every single time I bought property. And so, I'm just, a lot of people are just, they're gullible. They're not cynical. They're gullible and optimistic to a point of, that they are their own worst enemy. So, hey, I gotta go, guys. I appreciate you hanging out. And that's real trick for a question. Hey, everybody, glad to see you guys in here. Let's see. But that's it, man. But again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I really love, I got a lot of father-sons now. Father-sons creating generational wealth. Husband and wives creating generational wealth. It's a very cool thing, and I love it. That's in the mentorship. I urge you to check out the mentorship, FlipAnythingUSA.com, and hit that subscribe button, and we'll talk to you soon. See you.